47% of e-commerce transactions are now on Amazon. There's about 3 vans have been to my house, I think, since we started this call. So where do markets fit in? Should brands have an Amazon or marketplace strategy? It's not just Amazon anymore, right? In France, you've got Cdiscount, you've got Mano Mano. In the UK, there's this up and coming one called OnBuy. In the US, we've got Jet, we've got Newegg. It's a thing. So we're going to have feed-based commerce going forward. Where do we sit around marketplaces? And as an ex-Amazon employee, Thomas, what's your view?
Yes, interesting. I asked the guy that basically remembers getting faxes from companies so that we could set them up as sellers. That was a thing, by the way, when we launched lots of new categories. You might be surprised. I am reasonably anti-marketplaces from a brand and retailer perspective. Again, it's why I see the value of your own brand equity and try to drive shoppers onto your own site, or customers, depending on which area you're in. So if you're on a marketplace, what have we got, about 80, 90 people on this webinar? I reckon if I just asked everyone to think about the last thing that you bought on Amazon, because let's face it, we've all bought on Amazon probably in the last week. If you can remember who sold that product, if it was Amazon, if it was a seller, if you're thinking you don't really even know, then that in itself is probably quite worrying for the fact that that seller's just created themselves a landlord. And so whilst there's a variety of other marketplaces out there in the industry, which could be some short-term wins or some short-term gains, they're really just a sticking plaster for you, because going onto a different marketplace in a different country or a challenger marketplace in the UK is still not driving customers and shoppers to your own site, your own brand experience. And it's creating a very big landlord for yourself.
Okay, and Fred, would you have a view on where marketplaces fit in?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that, right? And like, sure, I buy stuff on Amazon, but I like to go to Google first to look for the lowest price, because people sort of make these false assumptions that Amazon has the lowest price. And so obviously there's other marketplaces then where you might find a better price. But I think if you look at the brick and mortar world and big brands like Adidas and Nike and Under Armour, for example, they seem to be more interested in pulling out of the big sporting good retailers, the physical ones. And so then you ask the question, well, if that's happening in the physical world, like, why would it be any different in the online world? Why would they want to be on Amazon, where they have, like Thomas is saying, far less brand control, far less information about the consumer? And really, I mean, Amazon is fairly bland, right, as a website, so you don't get the brand experience. You don't get those little nuggets that feed your brain and make you happy for having gone to that specific website and building that relationship with that company. So I think if you have the brand, if you have the capacity to deliver stuff yourself, then absolutely just do it yourself. But if you're a small seller, a new seller, you got just one product, or you're more of a product company, but not a big brand retailer, then sure, Amazon's great, and all these marketplaces are great distribution channels for you.
Yeah, and just to be clear, to declare my position on this, I'm totally in on the idea of aggregation. I'm totally in on the idea, and that's effectively what aisle 3 is. That's what we've created over the last 10 months in lockdown. We're creating a marketplace, but one that the transaction takes place on the retailer site, because there's huge value for shoppers to go to one place and see all of the people that sell a particular product, if it's on promotion, if it's in stock, if you can pick it up down the road.